I grew up in San Luis Obispo, California. I was the only African American in the town. I was the only African American on the football team. I was the only African American on the track team. So you use your imagination. But it was a cool place to grow up, don't get me wrong. It was a cool place to grow up. I learned a lot, and I developed some skills that I needed later on in my life. So it was a good thing. I got to play football, I got to run track, I got good grades. I cared about school, I cared about my studies because my mother made it important. So therefore it was a good thing. I work here at Tam High School. So after I retired from my first job, my wife asked me to leave the house and go get another job. So that's why I'm here at Tam. I get to see you young people. I get to interact with you, and I get to see you graduate. That's the most important element for me here at this job, is watching you come in as a freshman and watching you walk across that stage as seniors, headed to college. That's the reward I get for being here. I had a lot of friends, mostly the guys on the football team and the guys on the track team were my friends. The rest of the student body, I didn't really know many of them. Well, my career after high school, I went to college. My second year in college, I got a notice that I had been drafted by the military, and so I had to go home because my mother said, you got to come home, you've been drafted, you got to go to LA, so pack your bags and get ready to go. So I went home, packed my bags, and went to LA and got inducted into the military. It was not so much that it was hard, it was a different way of living, a different way of dealing with people, a different way of understanding how situations can force you to do things that you don't normally think you would ever do in your life. All of a sudden you find yourself doing those things because you're being indoctrinated by a person who's been to war many, many times, and he's telling you how to protect yourself. He's telling you how to live while the war is going on around you. So it's a different way of being. It's a different way of thinking. There was a gentleman, when I got out of the military, I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do. And somebody told me about Job Corps. And so I went to Job Corps to be a counselor. And there was this gentleman, and I forget the man's name, but he was a huge man. And one day he took me aside and he said, you know what, Owens? You can be whatever you want to be if you just make up your mind. And the question is, when are you going to make up your mind about what it is you want to be? And he was the greatest influence on me. He made me realize that I didn't have to spin my wheels. I could do something and make something happen in my life. I made first lieutenant in the military. A perfect day when I was young. Friday night, scoring 3 touchdowns in one game. Perfect night. I was the only African American in the town. So there wasn't a lot of people to have fun with, except at school.